OP, I'll be quick. 10 minutes tops. You just wait here, Funky.
No, I need to approve the shoes.
What?
These shoes rule. These shoes suck.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact, and it's totally science. Go ahead, look it up. Thanks so much. We've had Cringy Val on the back burner for a little while as an OP. She wrote a story about a neckbeard who had a problem drinking too much whiskey and his pee-pee didn't work. This particular video, I figured we'd try out the saga that she's written and see if it's to people's tastes. It does have a tabletop RPG bent to it. I know people do miss that. Maybe it will give us some vibes of cyberpunk. If you guys remember that series, 2 episodes, but it's glorious. Anyways, let's go ahead, see what we've got today. Join me over there. The Misadventures of Funky P Beard and Shadowrun Mayhem edited. Well, ain't that nice here? Hello, ReddX community! Welcome in, Cringy Val. I'm hiding behind a throwaway account like a little weenie because the beard in this story still scares me to this day. I don't want to overstate the trigger warning, but this beard is... he's a real piece of work. He might be easy to laugh at for some, possibly triggering for those who have survived coercive control or verbal maltreatment situations, and perhaps even pitiable and sympathetic if you view him through a very specific lens. I don't think I have that lens, OP. I dropped it. It shattered.
No, that's not fair.
It's even possible that I'm the villain of this story, but I've written it, and I've slapped it on the internet, and I did this in full awareness of the associated risk. Yeah, a lot of people get their feelings hurt sometimes. It's like, I don't know, dude. Just don't take it too seriously. Consider if critical comments have weight, but if they don't, feel free to discard them. I also need to wave my arms and beg those of you who prefer beard cringe to RPG horror to please give this story a chance. Well, we're minutes into it now. If they're strapped in, they're strapped in. This is go time.
No turning back now.
I assure you that the tabletop RPG essentially serves as just an excuse for us to gather and drink, hang dong, and prompt Funky to do beardy things. Hang dong, dude. I like it. If you're looking for a more traditional RPG horror story, well, this ain't it, kid. Oh, I might have oversold it in the intro a certain way. That's why I've changed up the title schemes, you know? You can't just fit it into a little box. So this is the misadventures of Funky P Beard and Shadowrun Mayhem. This is the story of the time I endured a full weekend of Shadowrun with my psycho neckbeard boyfriend. Oh, you're dating this person? Well, great. OP calls him FPB. F stands for funky, B stands for beard. I'll let the reader figure out what P stands for. God. For the sake of easier reading, let's just call him Funky.
You gotta wash your ass if you must. You gotta wash your hair if you must.
It feels sort of like we're doing a disservice to Funky Kong, but I don't know. I think it's gonna be fine. If you enjoy Shadowrun, please don't be offended. Shadowrun itself was not the problem. In fact, I later grew to adore the game, but for the purposes of this tale, my narration will primarily remain from a noob's point of view. Yeah, that's how I've lived my whole life, essentially. And please keep in mind that Shadowrun is a tabletop RPG with captivating lore, exciting gameplay, and an unnecessarily convoluted system that can suck every ounce of fun from an otherwise entertaining experience. Because of this, many teams choose to make their own rules. The GM of Funky's team took this to the extreme. Yeah, sort of like Fatal. Me, Ramtide, Tato Ferret, and some dude that left the server since sat down for hours, like 4 or 5 hours to create characters in Fatal. And then even once you start playing the game, there's even more rules. It's not fun. It's really not. I don't know anything about Shadowrun, but it has to be better than Fatal. I did narrate another player's POV playing Fatal before I had actually tried it. I think it's buried real deep on my Facebook page. You can dig it up if you want, whatever. Anyway, Ultimately, the unfathomable alcohol intake of Funky and his buddies, the lack of sleep, the projectile vomiting, Funky's righteous anger in response to the GM's mandated porn breaks, and other kinky shenanigans. What? The pee jars, the shit bucket, Funky's outrageous outburst, the stench of the house and back porch after a night of binge drinking and barfing, a late night visit from one of Funky's randos, Funky's myriad overreactions to my gleeful participation in the team's crass humor.
But you're my lady, you can't do that.
T-shirt gate. I want to know about T-shirt gate. The Axe body spray fumigation, the spunky retaliation, and the utter physical and emotional exhaustion that I experienced during the fallout were the factors that contributed to my general impression that the weekend was hellacious. I was about to say, like, this this sounds like absolute misery. Could I do it for 2 days? Yeah, but why? I want to go home, like, now. OP says, although, now that I think about it all, I did have quite a lot of fun whenever Funky was unconscious, or in timeout, or throwing a temper tantrum in another room, or wallowing on the floor after getting his ass beat. And yet, you stayed with this person. Maybe there is an actual reason. I don't really know yet. And so we enter Chapter 1. Thank you for smoking. Oh, my pleasure. Yes, indeed. I'm on and off the train. What do you want from me? Let's go ahead and introduce the cast. It's kind of a beefy cast for a Reddit post, but the catalyst for Cringe is a tabletop RPG, so you kind of gotta have a small crowd. OP, c'est moi. I am Val, female, late 20s, grad student, burlesque dancer, perky petite gamer girl, so beard bait, likes crass humor, Decker, which I assume is a Shadowrun class. Funky P beard, male, early 30s, humorless, supercilious, possessive, unremittingly enraged psychopath alcoholic. He's playing a street samurai. Well, doesn't that just fit? Maury, the GM, male, early to mid-30s, hypersexual kinky guy, likes exhibitionism and vom and illegal substances, charismatic cult leader vibes, usually able to handle Funky's nonsense. Yeah, I suppose. Sounds like a different breed of degenerate, but okay. There's also Axton, male, late 20s, grad student, attractive, pleasant to be around, the primary target of Funky's jealousy. He was a rigger. Yeah, you see, Funky knows that Axton's everything he's not. I don't know how many of these people I'm actually going to remember. Those are probably the main ones, but I'll finish it out. Sage, male, early to mid-30s, assistant GM, host of gaming weekends, typically level-headed, able to de-escalate tense situations, skilled in martial arts, mage. Yeah, playing monkey ain't too much fun when you can do it IRL, right? Athena, female, early 30s, co-host of the gaming weekends, intolerant of Funky, petite, pretty, friendly, slightly nerdy, probably also beard bait. Yeah, basically anything that resembles a woman is beard bait, generally. She was a shaman. Snorlax, best name ever, male, early 30s, the funny fat guy, not a neckbeard. God, I was the funny fat guy for so many years, you know? I'm trying not to let myself balloon. I've been going in the right direction. But yeah, life is so much more enjoyable when you're not giant. I do hope Snorlax gets to experience that at one point. I feel like now we're spirit brothers. You've lived somewhat the same thing I have, haven't you? He was easygoing, friendly, rarely directly involved in the weekend's drama. He also liked the devil's lettuce. Oh, me and Snorlax is best friends now. He was playing an adept. Cool, we got through it. So, roll for initiative, suckers! I got a 2. Also, I'm wearing plate armor. I am lethargy embodied. It was late one Friday afternoon, and I was pulling up to Funky's place, steeling myself for a full weekend of tabletop RPG that I had been studying all week. As a grad student at the time, I wasn't exactly thrilled to be spending my leisure time reading lore, or making character sheets, or learning a new set of vocabulary. This felt like extra homework, and yet you did it to try and connect with someone. Isn't that so nice? I find that most tabletop is like that. It's a lot more fun in theory than doing the actual thing. Unless you, like, really enjoy the person. I gotta make time for this? I got too much else going on, forget it. But I was determined to be a quote-unquote good girlfriend and learn as much as I could about my neckbeard boyfriend's most important passion and meet his closest friends. Yeah, just remember what they say about birds of a feather, alright? In the back of my mind, this was yet another last-ditch effort to improve the relationship. Maybe bonding over Shadowrun would make him gain some respect for me, lower his aggression, and possibly even allow us to finally have some fun together. If this failed, I had every intention of trying to break up with him again. Oh lord. There's even more backstory to this? Someone described as humorless and aggressive. Yeah, not liking that vibe too much. OP says, allow me to paint you a picture of Funky. He was an unconventional neckbeard who occasionally exhibited symptoms of nice guy syndrome. Yeah, we're still working on the Venn diagram. It's really hard to draw a perfect circle.
Circle one.
Although you wouldn't immediately know that he was a neckbeard just by the looks of him. He was tall and lanky. He could very convincingly behave like a normal human being in public, at least when he wanted to. He was obsessively hygienic, with one revolting exception. And he was almost always well-dressed. He never once wore a fedora, although he did own a samurai sword. I mean, that's just good policy. Everybody should own a samurai sword. I'm morbidly fascinated by him being morbidly hygienic, except when it comes to his dingle-dongle. You know? Like, come on, dude. Give it a rinse. It's the least you can do. He also had a bushy, black, hobo-chic beard that served as a flavor saver for all the random unwashed carpet that he munched. And you just stand by? This whole situation's getting more pathetic by the moment. His beard stank like a turtle tank. Hilarious. With heavy top notes of body odor and microwaved fish, and some undertones of stale urine, dingleberries, yeasty clunge curds, and sometimes a gentle waft of rotting tampon mixed with the remnants of the previous carpet muncher's halitosis. Oh, God. I don't know if we had to press the gas so hard on that. Give me a minute. I'm gonna need a minute. I didn't particularly care about the philandering because I didn't particularly care about the relationship. I didn't want to smell the philandering, though. That seems like a bit of cope to me. If you really didn't care about the relationship, you'd leave the relationship. So, gonna call a bit of BS on that. But I don't know, hindsight often rewrites things to make them make more sense. Anywho, OP says he was extremely supercilious, fancying himself a man with Ned Stark's honor and Tyrion Lannister's intellect, despite repeatedly banging multiple married women, publicly slandering innocent men, stalking numerous people, committing countless acts of vandalism, and never knowing quite as much about any given subject as he claimed to, because Wikipedia will only get you so far. Yes, living proof of the Dunning-Kruger effect right here. But he most definitely did possess Tyrion's more debauched qualities, especially the alcoholism. It is a hell of a thing, isn't it? He was an insufferable gatekeeper. We had plenty of common interests, but I often found myself on the receiving end of disparaging remarks or even full-blown character assassinations because I liked one of our common interests in a slightly different way. For example, we both enjoyed playing BioShock, but BioShock Infinite was one of my favorite games of the franchise, and Funky preferred the original game solely for its critique on objectivism. Instead of focusing on our mutual love for BioShock lore, Funky insulted my intelligence if I so much as mentioned Infinite. You get the idea. There's something broken deep down inside of himself, and so he wants to break you down to his own level. And it breaks my heart that you're sitting around just tolerating it infinitely. I can fix them. I can definitely fix them. No, at a certain point, you have to smell the roses and be like, okay, I'm up and out. I guess it did happen eventually, but the fact that it even got this far that you'd meet the friends, I don't know. Whatever. Funky valued his Shadowrun weekends above all else. He had missed weddings, funerals, dates, job interviews, and he never worked the lucrative Friday and Saturday night shifts at his job that could have tripled his income because he couldn't forsake his precious Shadowrun weekends. These gaming marathons lasted from sundown on Friday evening until sundown on Sunday evening. Every single week. Oh my god. Nah, dude, I like tabletop, but I'm good for like 3-4 hours. You gotta get the fuck out of here. I don't like it that too much. Is he a waiter? Is that his job? I have to ask why Friday and Saturday nights are more lucrative. I'm gonna go ahead and guess waiter. He had only ever missed 4 Shadowrun weekends since their team had formed 5 years ago. On 3 of these occasions, he had been in jail. Of course. Once for a DUI, once for filing a false police report, and once for public urination/vandalism. In other words, he had peed in the gas tank of his then-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend because, I don't know, reasons? No, OP, you totally just have to follow the line of logic there. Ex-boyfriend had his girlfriend before he had her. So now he's trying to have the girlfriend's ex-boyfriend's car before he could have it. 'Cause is the gas tank not like the holiest of holes? I mean, I guess you could go up the exhaust pipe, but that's kind of nasty, you know? All right. I digress. The 4th missed Shadowrun weekend was the result of the host banning Funky from the house because he had pubic lice in his beard. Ugh, shave that nasty fucking thing out. What are you doing? So why the hell was I dating this specimen of human garbage? I mean, that's really the thing I'm most critical about. We're all carrying around our own type of damage. Yours has manifested in this way, so tell me about your damage, OP. Come on! That is an excellent question, says OP, and the answer is a very long story for later. In all honesty, I don't think I'm capable of fully explaining it, even with the help of hindsight. All I'll say for now is that Funky kept the crazy extremely well hidden for a considerable length of time. The proverbial mask was engineered by remarkable prosthetists and cleverly concealed the troll underneath. And breaking up with an angry troll is a lot harder than it sounds. I'd walked away on countless occasions, but Funky always managed to bully me or threaten me into dating him again. I mean, yeah, I want to say start a paper trail, file the police report, etc., but if he's really that angry and unstable, he might show up to your house with a gun. Your only choice at this point is to move. Pack up everything, leave in the middle of the night, and never look back. It seems like a really hard thing to do. It's a shame, as a matter of fact. But trust me, there's only one way that this relationship ends, and it's not going to be good. I want to know how she got away. Oh, now I'm really hooked in. Okay. But now we have arrived at the beginning of the end. I made my way to Funky's front door and let myself in. Yes, I had achieved the relationship milestone of getting a key. Wow, things are really getting serious. I gag when I remember how proud I was of that quote-unquote accomplishment. See, but you were happy at the time. It's really weird how the brain just, like, rearranges things in your mind. As I entered the house, I could hear the shower running in the master bathroom upstairs, and I could smell the cotton candy-scented bubble bath that I had brought over for my own personal use. As I waited, I took the Shadowrun guidebook out of my backpack and combed through the pages that address decking, the Matrix, and some sample character sheets. We're just gonna skip over the cotton candy-scented bubble bath? Yeah, I guess. Probably not a battle worth having. I was trying to muster the optimism to imagine that this would be a surprisingly fun weekend, and that I would be hooked on Shadowrun as soon as I'd experienced it fully and gotten the hang of it. Spoiler alert, I ended the weekend having really only the flimsiest notion of how the game even worked. Yeah, drunks are not great teachers. Not great learners either. All I can tell ya is that it genuinely sounded like a fun game at first. I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more if we had spent more time actually playing the game instead of drinking, watching adult videos, and getting smacked in the face with the GM's junk. Casual sexual. I called it out even during the cast list. Just put him against the wall. Let's make this real easy, okay? We also might have gotten to play more if Funky hadn't constantly interrupted the game with his irrational outbursts. I mean, you're trying to talk reason with a man that is friends with a dude who puts his dong on people unsolicited? I don't really know how to unpack all that. He's not going to be rational. I'll tell you that already. Anyway, OP says, Funky soon emerged, smelling of cotton candy and Flower Bomb by Victor and Rolf. Yes, Funky always wore woman's perfume. His logic was that men's colognes were actually designed to appeal to men, while women's perfumes were designed to appeal to women. I don't think that's how it works. But sure, go off, I guess. OP says, from a marketing standpoint, it makes sense. Since the wearer is the one that has to smell him or herself all day, but he had read an article on the internet suggesting that you should wear opposite sex fragrances in order to attract the opposite sex. And he wasn't entirely wrong. His male friends mocked him for it, but women did seem to fawn all over him in public, gushing about how delightful he smelled. Personally, I didn't care for it. Overly floral perfumes make my head ache. I mean, they might just think he's a gay dude. My wife loves the smell of Old Spice, hates the smell of Irish Spring. Probably there is a lot of personal preference when you boil it down too much. But broad strokes get the fence painted faster. I'm not in a mood for arguing, so sure. I'll let you be right on that one. Whatever makes you feel better about wearing a perfume called Flower Bomb.
It's got bomb in it, so it's still manly. Whoa.
I also noticed that Funky was dressed to the nines. I'd always just done my own thing during the weekends since I didn't think I could muster the energy for a 48-hour gaming session. So I had no idea that it was a formal occasion. I was just wearing yoga pants, a light hoodie, and sneakers. I'd packed a weekender backpack with all the essentials and some additional casual clothes. I mean, we were basically going to a slumber party, right? Yes, between the projectile vomiting, we may slumber. We just have to remember to slumber on our sides, don't we? You might aspirate your own vomit and die. Be careful, okay? Funky ass OP.
Why are you wearing that?
OP? What's wrong with my clothes? I thought this would be kind of like a slumber party and I wanted to be comfortable. Funky.
This is important to me. You've left a few dresses in my closet. Would you kindly get dressed for the occasion?
Oh, would you kindly? It's a BioShock reference. He's trying to connect in his own deranged way, isn't he? OP says, well, just what in the hell was about to happen? I thought we were playing a tabletop RPG. Suddenly, I feared that we were secretly heading to some sort of basement dungeon sex party. Yeah, eyes wide shut. Did you bring your creepy bird mask? OP says, don't Atlas me, dude. But if it means that much to you, I certainly don't mind getting dressed up. Level with me, though. Where are we really going, Funky?
To play Shadowrun. I told you. I take this seriously.
I sighed. Whatever. I'll change, Funky.
Make it fast. We have to be there by sundown.
Or what? What happens if we're not there by sundown? But OP didn't say that. Instead, she says, I rifled through his closet, found a black cocktail dress, threw it on, shoved my comfy clothes into my backpack, and emerged. Funky.
Why are you still wearing sneakers?
OP. Again. I thought this would be a super casual thing, Funky.
We'll have to stop so you can buy some nice shoes.
OP. Are you kidding, Funky?
You don't have heels or a pair of those douchey hipster flats laying around here?
OP. No. Why is he so concerned with your shoes? And wearing women's cologne? And his pee-pee always smells like doo-doo? Oh, I'm getting some theories here. The bearded Popinjay harumphed and stomped out the door. I followed him to his Aztec clunker, where he immediately cranked up Insane Clown Posse. Yeah, miracles, they're all around us, bro.
One of these days, OP, you'll learn to like real music,
he said to me as he peeled out of the driveway. I don't really think that's how it works, especially when you're in your 30s, late 20s. The formative experiences that you had with music, that's all done. Which music you prefer is just a result of your culture and upbringing. And indeed, the fact that he likes ICP, it speaks a lot. OP says, I, like many other female OPs we've encountered, preferred to listen to Steam-Powered Giraffe. It's a Wolfbeard reference. That can't be the first band that comes to mind, though. Come on. Where's the love for Fall Out Boy? Panic at the Disco? Whatever. It's fine. You like what you like. You like what you like. Why are so many of their female fans beard bait? It's a beardy sort of band, isn't it? Steampunk anything. It attracts a certain type. There's got to be some trace amounts of science in that correlation. Yes, indeed, probably. We haven't run the numbers. And nothing against ICP. They're fine. Some of their songs are kind of funny, just not really my taste. They're weird. You can say that they're weird. And weird really means just not normal, so who's to say if that's a bad thing or not? They're doing their own thing, and I think that's great, but I choose not to listen. On the way to the host's house, we stopped at a DSW. Funky wanted to stop at Nordstrom or Bloomingdale's, but I was a grad student on a budget. OP, I'll be quick. 10 minutes tops, you just wait here. Funky,
no, I need to approve the shoes.
What?
These shoes rule. These shoes suck.
This really is just insanity. So Funky followed me into the shoe store, and I quickly settled on a pair of black vinyl Mary Janes that reminded me of tap shoes. Funky harumphed again.
You're such a hipster,
he muttered. Had he never seen his own reflection? Was he completely unaware that the restaurant where he worked as the maitre d' called it was one of the most hipstery hotspots in all of Wellsprings? I mean, one of the tenets of being a hipster is that you have to call everybody else a hipster. They're always the thing that you're not because you're totally undefinable and unique. Although to me, hipsters mean like, deep music tastes and stuff. They listen to Animal Collective and shit. But oh well, whatever. Who even knows what these things mean? Who the hell even cares? OP says, listen, these shoes are comfortable. They're affordable, and I will definitely wear them again after tonight. You know I hate heels. Are they really that bad? Funky took a closer look, and then he unfurrowed his brow.
No, actually, they're really cute. You're really cute.
He leaned down to kiss me, a rare gesture from Funky. I stood on my toes and strained to meet him, but he swiftly turned his face away.
Psych! You lose! No kisses for you, OP.
Uh-huh. Okay. Very mature. On what planet does a great boyfriend behave this way? And make no mistake, Funky fancied himself Boyfriend of the Year. I mean, if it's a funny little thing that you do to each other sometimes, then I guess that's fine. If it's just out of the blue, yeah, you're sort of a psychopath. We got back in the car. I shoved my socks and sneakers into my poor backpack that was nearly bursting at the seams at this point. I buckled the new shoes, sat back, and took out a cigarette. When I rolled down the window and flicked the lighter, Funky completely lost his mind. I mean, that's fair. Lighting up in the car? Maybe it's a regular thing they do. I don't know yet. But please don't smoke it. You're going to plummet the value of that vehicle. Instead of $300, now it's only worth $200. Funky screeches, what are you thinking? OP, I was thinking I need to calm my nerves before we hit this mystery party, and I wanted to have a cigarette. Funky,
we have to arrive fresh.
OP, you constantly smoke in the car. Why's tonight any different? Funky.
For these occasions, I do not smoke until the game gets going.
Okay, well that sounds like a you ritual. This is a me thing. If you really don't want me to smoke in the car, then pull over right now. And then yes, indeed, I would pull over. But instead, OP just puts the lighter away and stuck the cigarette back in the pack. Funky's cigarette holder was sticking out of his jacket pocket, and his own cigs remained in the cup holder. I should probably explain that Funky had to use a cigarette holder because his beard was so massive. Smoking without one would have been a fire hazard for his face, and I also think it made him feel fancy. Oh, he certainly is a fancy boy, isn't he? I mean, how much damage could a beard fire really do? What sort of monstrosity do you think he was hiding under there before the fire happened? All this might be an improvement. Funky says,
You're still playing a decker, right, OP?
Oh, so he was still keeping up the pretense that we were going to play Shadowrun, OP. Sleaze decker, so I'm sneaky, Funky.
Okay, so you're buying a kick-ass deck, right?
OP. I read that it was better to spend your money on high-tech wear as a starting character, Funky.
No, you have to spend all your new yen on a deck. Otherwise, you'll be no help, and the team will hate you. And you know we don't use icosahedrons, right? We use regular dice.
OP, I know. I was disappointed, remember? D20s are cool, Funky.
Yeah, they look cool, I guess. Whatever. Did you buy some?
OP, D20s? No, Funky.
We don't use those. Follow my thoughts, woman.
Follow my thoughts. Yeah, sure, okay.
Did you buy regular 6-sided dice?
OP, we were supposed to? I thought the GM or the host would have the dice. Funky.
They do, but we're all supposed to have our own. The more unique, the better. And you have to get a nice drawstring bag for them, preferably velvet.
Why wouldn't you clue your girlfriend in on any of this? Just sort of presumed knowledge?
Follow my thoughts.
I mean, I've tried, but I think the hamster's dead on the treadmill in there. OP says, okay, well, I'll get some of my own if I decide to play again. And I have a velvet bag that I got at Medifest, which is a medieval festival, some years ago. I still miss Ren Fair sometimes. Funky just nodded, curtly, expressionless. Why was I feeling like such a failure? And why wasn't he being more supportive of me as a novice? Okay, I'm sorry, a noob. I mean, we could have gone to a gaming store together to buy dice, right? It would have been a bonding experience and gotten me pumped up for the game. Oh, I bet one of his randos worked at the gaming store, and that's why he didn't want to be seen there with me. Yeah, those are all things that a decent boyfriend would do. Somebody who actually cared, but I'm pretty sure that you're just a trophy to parade through there. Be like, look at that cocktail dress. She's wearing high heels, everybody. All right, great job, OP. Now go stand in the corner and look pretty. Anyways, we soon pulled up to the host's house. It seemed like a perfectly normal home. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't a dilapidated crack house. It was a very normal-looking suburb just outside the city. If this was indeed an intimate adult party, it was a pretty low-key one, and that scared me even more. There's nowhere to hide when it's a small gathering. The fact you think he'd spring that kind of party on you is pretty worrying to me. I can't see the threads that were followed to arrive at that conclusion, but thank God that's not what it actually is. So I got out and followed Funky to the house. He opened the door and strolled inside as though this were his second home. Funky, hello? A guy with dark, tousled, shoulder-length hair and some light scruff, wearing a tattered band t-shirt, distressed denim shorts, no shoes, and a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, ran up to greet us. He and Funky did some sort of manly handshake-hug combo, and then he turned to me. So you're the one who managed to settle this idiot down. I'm Sage the Mage. Welcome to our dystopian future. I laughed and shook his hand. A dude who looked alarmingly like the typical neckbeard rounded the corner. He was a chunky boy with messy, albeit seemingly clean brown hair, and his face sported a sparse beard that did indeed go all the way down his neck. He was wearing a Pokemon shirt and actively puffing away on some wacky tobacco. "Hello, I'm Snorlax," he said, in a very normal, very friendly voice, and he flashed a cherubic smile. I introduced myself and offered a handshake. Snorlax hugged me. This was unexpected. So far, everyone had been friendly and welcoming. Quite the departure from the sullen misanthropy that Funky exuded. And might I add that Snorlax was wearing worn gray sweatpants and holy socks, along with his Pokemon shirt? I was starting to righteously resent Funky's criticism of my original attire. Pajamas really are just the best clothes ever, ain't they? And that's how I know humans really hate themselves. Make these super awesome clothes and then only wear them while you're unconscious. It's injustice. Truly it is. OP said, "Snorlax, do you mind if I ask you about the dress code?" Snorlax snort laughed. "You've been listening to Funky, I take it. He's full of shit. He's the only fool who dresses up, and he'll be buck naked by tomorrow morning. Just wait." Funky was staring daggers at Snorlax. And let's be clear, Snorlax is absolutely not the beard in this story. He's a sweetheart. I mean, yeah, he hangs out with degenerates, but he keeps his own degeneracy well hidden, I guess. Unless it's just the wacky tobacco, in which case, yeah, I get it. OP says, "Then you guys won't be offended if I change back into my comfortable clothes?" Snorlax gestures to the left. "Not at all. Ladies are permitted to use the restroom." OP, "And guys can't?" Sage and Snorlax looked at each other and cackled. "See? You see? This is the type of shit. I can't be here." I made a dash for the bathroom. It was relatively clean, nothing horrifying, a few mildewed towels on the floor, some mystery gunk in the sink. I didn't care. I just changed back into my comfy clothes and then completely dispensed with footwear of any sort. Oh, is the house clean enough for that? That's nice. My beard nest wasn't. Ramtide's making chainmail. There's just like little chunks of wire stuck in the carpet. I'm trying to teach myself to sew and just the needles get away from it. You put them on the desk, where do they go? Nobody knows until you really know. It's fine. The cigarette burns are relatively safe to walk on though. Anyway, yeah, no shoes. Great, comfortable. I do love it, but not advisable in a beard nest maybe. As I emerged, I ran into a petite woman with beautiful curly hair, freckles, and some cute round glasses. She was wearing black and white polka dot pajamas. OP, "Hi, I'm Val, Funky's girlfriend. I'm so happy to see another girl here." She hugged me. "We've all been wanting to meet you. I'm Athena, Sage's girlfriend." Sage passed by and waved at us, still smoking his cigarette. He's the assistant GM, if I recall. Look at me remembering things. OP said, "Funky talked like smoking wasn't allowed here until the game starts, but everyone else seems to be smoking." Athena, "It's fine. Light on up. I don't smoke, but I'm literally the only one who doesn't, and I've become totally noseblind to it." Yeah, this second hand's a hell of a thing. You don't smoke directly, but you smoke. I hugged her again. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Athena laughing. "Sure thing. Funky has his own ritual. We don't even try to understand it. And feel free to stash your stuff in the guest room right behind me." Yeah, Funky's ritual's full of bullshit. Let me do what I want to do. You want to make this an enjoyable experience or not? Nah, he don't care about none of that. It's all about him. So, finally feeling a bit more at ease, OP stashed the bursting backpack, grabbed the cigs and lighter, lit up, and made her way into the living room. Funky's face reddened.
"You're smoking?"
A chorus of, "Oh, come on, get over yourself and let the lady smoke," filled the room. Funky seemed embarrassed. "Yeah, some good old social shaming, there you go. The one way to keep that boy in line." 2 other team members had joined by that time. The GM's name was Maury, and he was wearing a black tank top covered in some suspicious white stains and sheer light blue boxer shorts. No shoes. He had very short, hot pink hair and a long braided beard with pink streaks, tinsel, and a few crystal beads woven into the braids. Sitting on the sofa, there was a final, surprisingly attractive guy with a well-groomed beard and floppy, sandy hair, wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and combat boots. His name was Axton. Maury and Axton were smoking. Maury.
Welcome, OP.
I nodded and smiled, happy to be here. Axton. Glad to finally have another fellow techie around. OP. Well, don't count on me being any good. Axton. Just roll the dice and have fun. I've been a decker before, so I could show you around the Matrix if you got any questions. OP says, I will definitely have questions. Apologies in advance. Maury stood on the fireplace and opened his arms toward the rest of us. Maury.
The team has assembled. And now, the time has come.
Everyone leapt up and shouted, "Pre-game!" They pounded their chests and performed something resembling a tribal dance. Maury.
To the fuel station.
Apparently the kitchen was the fuel station. This is already really weird and the debauchery hasn't even started yet. Maury.
We at last have a 7-member group. So the ritual of the 7 shall bring us excellent fortune in this weekend's mission. Chummers, take your positions.
At the kitchen table, there were 7 neatly arranged sets of 7 shots of Maury.
Fireball. Each tincture shall light a fire in our bellies, improve our spell casting, and lead us to victory.
Holy crap. There was no way in hell I could down 7 shots of Fireball whiskey. Yeah, I had 6 shots of Jose Cuervo on my 21st birthday and puked all over Shore Patrol, so 7's a bit beyond the pale. These are hardened alcoholics that you're hanging out with. OP says, surely these shots were intended to be spread out over the course of the weekend, or at least over the course of the night. But as the rest of the team gathered around the table, I noticed that everyone, even petite little Athena, was slamming all 7 shots in rapid succession. I mean, yeah, they do this every weekend. Liver damage. It's fine! It won't catch up with me for another 15 to 20 years. I drank 2, and then I stopped. And that was when Funky did something truly shocking. Funky.
Hey, guys, this is Val's first time, and she can't really handle her liquor that well. Can we give her a pass?
That is rather shocking. He probably feels bad about scolding you for smoking earlier. Maury says,
1 more shot, and we'll grant you a pass. Next time you must take 4.
OP, are you being serious? Funky puffed his scrawny chest up and towered over Maury, continuing to defend the honor of my uninitiated liver. Maury laughed.
No, I'm kidding. Put the other shots in the fridge. We'll all be wanting another one before long.
And as he helped me carry the 5 remaining shots to the refrigerator, Funky leaned over and whispered,
Maury's gonna fuck with you. Call him out on it. Otherwise, you'll wind up with his dick on your face.
OP, yeah, right. Funky,
no, I'm serious. He's a kinky bastard. I woke up with him teabagging me last weekend.
And yet, you show up at his house. You know what? This is a lot more damage than I can repair. I guess I'm just gonna have to enjoy the ride. OP says, I laughed out loud. That's just some frat guy crap. He doesn't scare me. Funky,
you need to be scared. And you need to change back into more appropriate attire. You look like a harlot in those yoga pants.
It's the yoga pants that does it for you, huh? I think it's kind of overdone. Personally, cocktail dress for me. Oh, even more than cocktail dress? Sundresses. God.
Don't even get me started on a sundress.
OP says, "You're the only fool who dresses up, apparently." Before Funky could retort, Maury called us all into the living room, or the war room, as it was known during the gaming weekends. Maury, "The rules," everyone groaned. I was actually starting to find this evening somewhat entertaining. All of the team members seemed super nice, even Kinky Maury. Nobody reeked. Everybody seemed socially adept. This might not be so bad. Yeah, the alcohol hasn't even really taken hold yet. Just you wait. And Maury says, "If you glitch, you must take a shot of Fireball to boost your skills. Val, you must take a sip of an alcoholic beverage, but only for tonight." I nodded. Maury, "The second time you glitch, you must kiss my staff, or endure a smack in the face from my staff." Ugh. Funky, under his breath,
He means his dick.
You what?
You just really put your lady in the line of fire like this. You're supposed to say, "Maury, you touch my lady with your staff, I'm gonna rip it off. I will punch it up your ass and out your mouth. Do you understand?" OP says I bit my lip to keep from laughing. Maury continues, "All subsequent glitches will result in escalating staff punishments. The anal gaze, removal of armor, or a spanking." Funky, under his breath,
He's not kidding.
"And everyone's just okay with this?"
What the hell is wrong with you people?
OP says, "I remained wildly amused, and my shoulders were shuddering a little from stifling my laughter." Maury, "Anything the team deems an epic success shall be rewarded with a shot of Johnny Walker Blue." Yeah, instead of shit whiskey, you get slightly above shelf whiskey. Hooray, what a fun time. OP says, "So both rewards and punishments involved alcohol? Someone was definitely going to the hospital with alcohol poisoning before the weekend was over."
Hell yeah, bro. Go big or go home, bro.
I'm so over all this stuff. The Navy days, that's when all this stuff happened for me. Late 20s, early 30s, I couldn't see it. The priorities have shifted, you see. Well, we all choose our own path. Maury says, "Finally, leaving the war room outside of designated break times is not permitted for gentlemen. Ladies may use the restroom for any of the 4 Ps." I open my mouth to ask the obvious question. Athena, 1 is pee, 2 is poop, 3 is puke, 4 is period. Great. Maury, "Gentlemen, you've all been given piss jars, and there is a poop bucket under the conference table," the coffee table. "Should a more serious urge arise." I turned to Funky inquisitively. Funky said,
He's serious.
Maury, "And if you must vomit, do so where you sit. Another member of the team will clean it up as punishment should they glitch. Ladies, you're not exempt from any punishment, despite your restroom privileges." Holy hell. This whole situation sounded positively revolting. Yeah, it is. Why are we not running yet? It sounds funny when it's just words on a page or being said by some guy, but when you're there, actually staring into his beehole and cleaning up someone else's puke, I don't know, man. It just doesn't sound like the ideal weekend to me. And also kind of hilarious if you were to ask the 12-year-old who still takes over my brain on a fairly regular basis. Yeah, I got one up there too. But you gotta stay in control. Beat him down with a nice sack of Valencia oranges. Shows him who's boss and won't leave a bruise. But I still had my doubts that Maury's rules were really anything more than a show. See, I think this is the problem with most people. They don't fully consider the ramifications of what they're hearing. They're just like, that's a show. It'll be entertaining. Like, no, this is your life. This is how you're choosing to spend your life in this moment. Why would you ever pick this? Maury, place your hand on your chest and pledge your loyalty if you agree to this, and take off your pants if you object. I placed my hand over my heart as if I were back in primary school, preparing to sing the national anthem. No one took their pants off. Maury, then the planning for infiltrating the Horizon group commences. Now. Funky lit a cigarette at last. Yes, all aboard the degeneracy train! At least in the next part. This is all just a bit much for me to unpack today. I'm not sure that I'm ready for what comes next, but I guess we will find out eventually. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Impeccably written story, Val. I hope you guys will like, comment, subscribe, show some love for Val, myself. Let me know if you want some more Funky P beard. You can also click my Amazon affiliate link and Teespring and all that type of stuff. Thank you so much as well to my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members. On the end card, I'm going to link you to some Burger Beard, because this one definitely had some Burger Beard vibes for me. So if you did enjoy this one, you'll probably enjoy that one. Don't be scared to click on through. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye. Go ahead and cut them open. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Promise swears